Okay, we have to have a good talk about respect. What you need to do. Helping others. Helping others help themselves.
Did you hear what happened to Joe?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I don't know, he's always like trying not to fit in, you know, he just seems like this weird kid.
I don't know, I think he's really misunderstood, you know? Like, I think everybody's just gotta stop picking on him. Like, give him a chance, you know? I hung out with him the other day and he's a really good guy. He just needs a chance.
Oh.
Alright man, just take care of yourself. I gotta bounce, I got some work to do. But hey, good luck on your civics test, eh?
Yeah.
Alright, see you
Thanks.
later.
Today's test, I hope you guys all prepared very well today.
Man, that test was really harsh. Like, that stuff about that Kyoto Protocol.
Oh, that stuff's useless anyway.
It's not that it's useless, it's actually really interesting. Just the test itself is like, really hard. Oh yeah, there's gonna be this rally next week. And like, it's gonna be amazing. Here, have a flyer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That your essays are due by the end of the week. Please start your research today. 500 words by Friday. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, so Miss, like, I had this really good idea for the assignment, but you know, I was hoping I could do it as a video.
No, this is a written assignment. If you can stick with it, that would be great.
ask you all to take a moment to imagine your daily routine. Was it similar to the one in the video? Just think about that for a second. Now we'd like to ask you, where in your daily routine are you learning the most? Or from whom are you learning the most? When we think about this, we wonder, how exactly do we learn today?
When we think about this, we realize that learning doesn't only come from one place. It doesn't only happen in the classroom. It comes from our friends, our family, our teachers, technology, and sometimes even pets.
So today, we'd like to look at how we learn outside of the classroom today and see if we can bring that kind of learning, that kind of natural learning that comes so easily to us, into the classroom. It's in this way that we're seeking purely to enhance the educational system and our student learning.
So to start off, let's take a look at what learning in a typical classroom looks like. We think that it looks like, when you think about this, what do you see in your mind? If you close your eyes and you think of your typical classroom experience, what I see is a teacher standing in front of a group of students, the teacher with all of the knowledge and the students as the passive participants. But why does knowledge only travel one way?
Think of a positive educational experience you've had. I hope you've all had one. How did you feel during that experience? You probably felt like the teacher valued your opinion, like the teacher valued the experiences you had and your unique knowledge and perspective. You also probably felt very engaged and interested in the subject you were talking about. Why can't this be the norm in our classrooms? Why can't we bring this type of open learning process, there we go, where there's more of an open dialogue between teachers and students, students and other students, and students, teachers, and the subject matter? Why can't we all draw from each other's experiences and each of our knowledge and learn together in that way? We like to summarize this idea with the word engage.
So what does a more engaging classroom look like? There's some interesting examples around the world, including an interesting school called Tinkering School. What they do is they have the students learn through building. Each student decides what they want to build, and we have a picture here for you from that school of a girl deciding that her project was going to be to build a bridge. So what they do is they choose something they want to build, and then they go through the entire steps of building it.
So this is this kind of totally student-driven type of education and learning. And we see other examples of it in the world as well. In England, there's a boarding school you might have heard of called Summerhill. At this school, not only do they not force the students to do anything at all, which is an interesting thing in itself, but they also allow the students to vote along with teachers on executive decisions. I'd like to point out that the students aren't even forced to attend class.
So the first thing that you think of when you think of students not being forced to attend class is, of course, if you don't force students to do this, they'll do nothing all the time. But I'm sure, as you know, we rarely do just nothing with our time. What we do is the things that we care about and find important. So why can't our learning be driven by these things that we find important and that we feel are relevant to our education? We feel that teachers need to play a more supportive role in our education. And if they don't put such strict deadlines on us, that they'll be surprised by the wonderful things that we achieve. We like to summarize this one word: encourage. Don't force.
So, we've kind of established that when we engage students and we encourage them, so when students care about the subjects they're studying about, and when the teachers allow them to explore issues that interest them, and when they want to do it themselves, when they're internally motivated, we've established that this is a good kind of equation for learning. But sometimes you can have these two factors and still you can't initiate your own learning. Still, you don't feel, you want to do these things, but you don't end up doing them. I'm sure you can all relate if you've had something, you say a New Year's resolution you wanted to do, you cared about it, no one's forcing you to do it, and yet you just never get around to doing it. So why does this happen? In the education system, Samira and I believe it stems from a lack of a sense of empowerment. And I mean that in two ways. A lack of confidence and a lack of a sense of ownership over your own learning and the projects that you initiate. So I'm going to explain the ownership part later, but first I'd like to go over the confidence, the lack of confidence. There's a school in India called the Riverside School, and what one educator at the school did was she allowed her students to decide what they wanted to create and sell, then allowed them to create it themselves, and allowed them to sell it on the streets of India. So this entire project was completely student-driven. Now, at the end of this project, not only did they learn the skills required to do all of this, which is helpful in itself, but they also learned a sense of confidence. And you can see there's actually a TED video on this. And you can see once they sell these products, you can see the smile on their faces. And you can see this incredibly valuable lesson they've learned. And the other thing that they've learned from this project is a sense of ownership. So because it was totally student-driven, because they made every decision along the way. The product belonged to them. What they were selling belonged to them. They owned their learning in this case. Another great example, one you guys can probably relate to a lot more, are open source projects on the internet. Wikipedia is a great example. So open source means there's a central project which people care about because it's interesting, like Wikipedia, and then anybody can contribute in their own meaningful way. So why is it so successful? You all know how successful Wikipedia is. Why is this? We think it's because the people that contribute to it, not only are they interested in it because it's just an interesting project, but because they care about it. They've put their effort and their work into it because they care about it and it belongs to them. So the successes and the failures can be attributed fully to them. So we like to summarize this whole idea of learning confidence and ownership with the word empower.
So now we've talked about 3 key ways that we can enhance our education: through engagement, encouragement, and empowerment. But how do you take these ideas and make them real?
We believe that the internet and new technology holds a huge potential for being used in the educational system as a learning tool. Our generation is one of the first to grow up with the internet and new technology at our fingertips. And I think we all see how it has such a huge potential for sharing knowledge, communicating with one another, and contributing meaningful information to the central knowledge base that is the internet. What would happen if we brought this kind of technology into the classroom? That's the kind of potential that we are looking to unlock.
And that's why Zach and I are here. We're here because we run a program called FYBY News. In other words, For Youth, by Youth News. What we do is we run a website. The website acts as a central library where young people choose that they want to create something. So it can be a video, an article, or any other thing that you decide to make. And you make it on a topic that's relevant and important to you. You then take that video or article and you ship it to us. So long as it meets a simple set of guidelines, we'll post it on the library. Then that content can be used for anybody to learn or educate others with.
So your video could be about almost anything, as long as it's not hateful or malicious. We have no bias. So if you see a group's video that you just totally don't agree with, or an article, you can submit your own and say, this is my answer to the solution, or this is my answer to the question, and I believe it's a better solution. You're also credited fully for your work. After all, this is meant to be your program. It belongs to you. And its success and achievements can be credited fully to the people that contribute to it. We're simply here to act as guides and try to support you in any way that we can.
So how do we at FYBY make sure that we meet these goals of engagement, encouragement, and empowerment? To start off with engagement, we allow young people to choose a topic that's relevant to them and then apply their knowledge to it specifically, and to do it in the process to unlock their creativity while doing it. We also encourage young people by providing them with the supports to make their dream a reality. And lastly, we empower young people by giving them full ownership on the project. It's in these 3 simple ways we seek to enhance education.
Now, we're still a growing program, and we know we have a lot of work to do and a lot to learn, but we are confident that with the support of everybody in this room, as well as youth everywhere, that we can learn from each other, grow together, and put education back where it belongs, in the hands of the students.
So going forward, we hope you have the opportunity to own your education. Thank you.